Hi everyone, welcome to another video on Dunk City Dynasty, and in today's video I will be doing a character guide on Bam Adebayo. Now he is my most played character and also probably my most favorite character to play because it's just very fun to play him, especially for solo rank matches. And I'll just show you some of my stats for him. You can see that I was ranking top 82 for him last week, and it wasn't from just spamming game, because I know you can actually just reach higher in the leaderboard by simply playing more games. If you actually take a look at how many times I played him, I only played him 136 times across the 2 seasons. So this ranked stats is actually based on 2 seasons. And if I actually take a look at this season, I probably only played him. I reckon I probably played him half of the time. So probably this season I have played around 18 matches or so with him so far. And obviously my win rate is 63.2, which is not amazingly high, but as a solo rank player, I think that's definitely respectable as well. Okay. Now, so why do I actually enjoy playing him so much? If we actually take a look at what kind of player he is, what we can immediately see is that he's not the most offensive center out there because he doesn't actually have too many different attacking options. He actually have a decent mid range, but it's not crazy high, so it's not that consistent. And he has pretty much no 3-point. He does have a very high dunk and layup stats. However, he doesn't actually have any skills to do a dunk or layup automatically. So that's kind of why he's not actually the most offensive center out there. And then defensively, while he does have a block move, if you actually take a look at his talent, what you didn't realize his block is why the block angle 240 is actually only for blocking shots rather than blocking dunks and layup. So he's not the best protector of the rim either. However, what makes him so fun to play, especially for me, is actually the fact that he is actually able to refresh his sprint cooldown a lot. So if you actually take a look at his passive ability, which is called Head Start, whenever you do any rebound, screen, block, score or shot contest, you are able to refresh the cooldown your full sprinters immediately. And what that basically means is that you will pretty much be sprinting for half of the match whenever you play him, and that gives you lots of options to basically cover the space. For example, your teammates may not be able to mark the opponents directly, or maybe create space or opportunity for your whole team, and that just makes him very, very fun to play, because even when you play him as a solo player, there are so many different ways for you to impact the game, because he can literally be everywhere at once. And because he can literally run to everyone so fast, it's actually very easy for him to do one of those actions and then immediately refresh the cooldown, and then he can sprint back to do something else. So that's kind of why, even though when you're playing him as a center, even when you don't have the ball, there's a lot of things you can do with him, which makes him very, very fun to play, in my opinion. Now, the way I'm going to do this character guide is that I will be going through how I set up my potentials for him. I will also talk about the very different skills, just so you guys have an idea on whether they're any good, whether it's worth spending resources to level them up, and also what kind of circumstances do you actually want to use them. And then at the end, I'll probably also try to get a few game clips just to show you how he would perform in real life matches. Okay, now let's start off with the basic, which is the potential and also kind of the enhance, etc. So let me start off with enhance. Now for enhance, for vast majority of the centers, it's ideal that you actually max them out completely, because normally the last node is always going to be a rebound +5, and rebound does matter. A lot of time rebound is one of those few stats where you're directly competing against your opponent. Like unlike the likes of shots where you're kind of just based on the RNG the AI is giving you, this one you are directly competing against other players who also have rebound stats. So therefore the higher rebound you have, the better it's going to be in comparison. So that's kind of why it's always important for you to get it to max 2. And on top of that, he does actually have some pretty decent stuff every single time when he unlock one of those nodes. So even if you're not able to get it to max dupe straight away, it's good to use, just slowly build up. Dupe 1, you're already able to increase the duration, and like I said, he'll be sprinting all the time. This is already very helpful. This 100 rebound makes him rebound slightly faster than other characters who don't have it, so this is also a nice one to have. This block success rate against layup and dunks is also needed. Also, this block stats is also very helpful, so this one's also good. This one is a strength and also a block action, so this one is also nice. And then dupe 5, increase the movement by 8. This is massive when you'll be running around all over the place. And then, like I said, dupe 6, rebound stats as well. So pretty much at every stage of his dupe is actually very, very good. So definitely try to max dupe him as soon as possible. And then for the partner one, the one I personally is going to recommend it's going to be Rebound, because he does actually lack the rebound slightly more. Now, yes, you will be running around a lot trying to block. However, a lot of time, even if you don't block successfully, if you're just able to contest it because you're fast enough to just get in people's way, that already is a win for you. Whereas the rebound is sometimes, once again, you're competing directly with other players, so a higher rebound is definitely going to be nice for you, okay? Now, in terms of actual potential, this is the potential layup, potential breakdown I've done. For the red, it's always going to be mid-range and block. Like I said, block is going to be very important. And mid-range, because his mid-range is actually quite low right now without any potentials, you just want to make it a bit more consistent in case you do get those open opportunities. So that's kind of why this one's more or less always fixed. The blue one is also fixed in my opinion, because it gives you extra movement block so that you can run everywhere in order to actually block those shots. Now, you can potentially opt in for a rebound based one, which is this one, consistency and rebound. However, I don't think he needs consistency that much. So whilst the rebound stats is nice, you are kind of wasting half of the potential here. So that's kind of what I don't recommend there. And then there's also another one, which is movement vertical down. To be honest, this one I think is almost the same as this. Rather than block and steal, you get movement, you get vertical and dunk. Now vertical does influence both block and also rebound, so you can potentially argue that is slightly better for Adebayo. However, dunk is not really used by Adebayo. Whereas steal, he does actually have a steal skill as well. So that's kind of why I do feel like this one's probably slightly better. And this one's also a bit more universal for other type of characters as well. So that's kind of why I picked this one. And then for the green one, it's more or less fixed as well. It's going to be rebound and pass, because they definitely want something to increase his rebound even further. And out of all of the secondary stats, pass is the one that's going to be the most beneficial for him. So this one is kind of fixed. So to be honest, all three of his potential are pretty much, there's not too much variations they can go with them, okay? Now let's go to his actual skills. So his main skill, his old skills, right, is pretty straightforward. It's just a rebound. Now you are actually able to knock away opponents who are nearby. So definitely use this if you happen to see a lot of people already got into a better position than you. For example, you may be outside the perimeter trying to assist in defense, and then you need to rush back, and you know the enemy center is already in position before you. Then you can actually use this to knock them back and get that ult, get that rebound with your ult. This I can already mention. This main passive is very, very useful. This is how you can refresh your cooldown all the time, right? So definitely take advantage of this. Then we have the quick floater. This I don't actually use it much, mainly because if you actually take a look at the animation for this, you will actually be rushing into the paint area in order to actually use this, because the range is actually pretty small, and a lot of time the enemy center will actually be right in front of you, so this could get contested a lot. The only time I actually recommend you guys using this is that if you happen to be screening for your teammates already near the perimeter, and therefore you actually bring the center also to the perimeter area in order to assist in defending your teammate, and then at those kind of opportunity the paint will be open, and then you can quickly screen and then rush in order to do a quick floater. So that's probably the only time I will use a floater. Otherwise, what I tend to do is actually just stretch out the paint by literally just using his normal shoot skill rather than using any, his actual skills. Now next one we have pressure D. This is basically just his defense button, and this is where I say, if you do happen to actually stop the enemy dribble, you can actually then follow up with a steal. Now this I typically use it when I know the enemy center might be driving in fast from the outside. So normally the likes of Porzingis or Paul Gasol, who is able to quickly drive from kind of mid-range perimeter area down to the paint area. So this is where I would actually use this on purpose to try to stop their drive, and if I happen to do that, then I will try my luck with a steal. So that's basically normally where you'll be using this. Now sprint is kind of the core of Bam Adebayo. And like I said, not only you are able to use his sprint a lot because your passive will be refreshing the cooldown, but also when you're sprinting, you are increasing pretty much a lot of your stats. You're increasing your rebound, you're increasing your mid-range, you're increasing your block success, and also obviously you additionally increase your movement as well. So definitely do try to use your sprint as much as you can. As soon as you see out of cooldown and there's a need for you to use it, don't hesitate, just use it, because very likely you will be able to refresh the cooldown very soon anyway, so definitely don't hold it for too long, okay? But still, try to time it. Don't just randomly spam it for no reason. Try to always use it as a right step before you go for rebound, right before you go for block. I'm actually going to switch up the order of the skill slightly and talk about active block now, and leave rebound smash till last, because I just want to give it a bit of an actual demo to illustrate this one, okay? Now for active block, this is pretty straightforward. Basically, the only additional skill you can unlock here is a wider block angle, but like I mentioned before, this is only for blocking shots. So if you're actually trying to block any dunks or layup, you won't get that 240 angle, unfortunately. So even when you're trying to assist defense with Bam Adebayo, make sure that you are always in a position where you can actually rush back in time. Maybe with the sprint, you can always rush back in time to block any dunks and layup, etc. As well. So just kind of make sure you don't extend too far, because you definitely can't block any dunks or layup from the side or from the back, etc. Okay, now last one, rebound smash. Now this one sounds very simple. You can see it doesn't actually unlock much. It just increases your rebound range and also increase team morale. But this is probably the only thing that BAM has, which actually requires a bit more attention, and that's kind of why I just want to demonstrate to you guys quickly. The way I'm going to do this is I will just do this in free practice. Let me just quickly change this up. So if I go into free practice, so basically the way it is that if I try to shoot, what you can see here, this one is going to be a rebound smash, okay? Well, I actually meant to go in. Is it possible for me to not go in? Okay. All of my shots go in by default, so I can't actually do much here. Let me try 3-pointer. Even 3-pointer go in. Okay, I can't actually show you guys how to do a rebound in this practice mode. But basically what I was trying to hopefully show was that when there's actually a rebound and you do a rebound smash, it's always going to go into the direction where you are facing. So for example, if let's say, imagine the ball is coming out of the basket here and I am facing this way, when I do my rebound smash, it's going to hit into the baseline. Whereas let's say the ball is kind of around this area and I was, let's say, trying to run from this way, this direction, I was facing like this. When I actually do a rebound smash, then the ball will actually be then going into this direction, because the character was facing this way before. And this basically means there's quite a few different things you can do with a rebound smash. So number one, when should you actually do a rebound smash and when should you actually do a normal rebound? There are a few things you need to bear in mind. First of all, Bam Adebayo doesn't actually have any additional benefits or additional rebound skills outside of his rebound smash, which basically means if you're just trying to fight for a rebound, you'll be literally based on your position and also your timing. So if you can already win a rebound that way, then that's great. You can just go for normal rebound, because a normal rebound can actually make sure you have the possession of the ball afterwards, because you'll be grabbing the ball. Whereas if you do a rebound smash, the ball is actually then becoming a loose ball. Now, granted, you will actually be landing onto the ground slightly faster, and therefore also you can use your sprint immediately, so you can actually go and chase for that loose ball, but there's no guarantee you'll be able to get that. So if you can already make sure you win the rebound with a normal rebound, then go ahead, just do that, because you can actually secure your possession. However, if you're finding out that you're actually losing a lot of the contest versus rebounds, what you can do is actually use your rebound smash, because it does give you an extra rebound range and therefore slightly higher likelihood of grabbing or actually smashing that ball with your rebound smash. Now, when you're doing rebound smash, there are a few things you do want to pay attention to. Now, because it will become a loose ball, the one thing you need to make sure is that, are you actually going to be in the prime position to pick up that loose ball, or is it actually going to be likely to be picked up by someone else on the field? Now, if you realize that, for example, there is already one of your teammates is actually completely open from somewhere else, what you can do is you can actually try to do a rebound smash into that teammate, and this is actually slightly better than grabbing a rebound and then pass, because it's actually going to be a lot faster just to smash it directly into your teammate's direction if he's the only one there. So what you can do is potentially actually change your position ever so slightly right before you do the rebound smash, so that you're actually facing towards your teammate to make sure that he will be in the prime position to get that rebound. And then what you can do is that you will still be using your sprint and try to chase after the ball just in case your teammate is not quick enough to react. But the other thing you can also do is that when you're chasing for the ball, because you have your sprint, you'll be able to get there slightly faster than any other opponent. What you can do is rather than actually going for the loose ball, assuming your teammate already picked up, you actually do a screen for them. And this way you prevent any opponents trying to actually block your teammate. So that's potentially one way of how you can take advantage of Rebound Smash. And then the other thing is that if you're not actually sure if one of your teammates can actually grab the loose ball, what's preferably normally is that you actually do a Rebound Smash into the baseline, because when you actually smash the ball into the baseline, it's not actually going to move too far out. So it's unlikely that someone else who's not within the paint area is actually able to pick up that loose ball. And when you actually only competing against other people who are in the paint area who all hopefully would have jumped out for the rebound at the same time as you. When you actually do that rebound smash, like I said, you are likely to be the one who land onto the ground first, and you also have that sprint. So assuming it didn't actually go too far away from the baseline, you should actually be in a good position to pick it up quicker than your opponents as well. So that's kind of the other thing you can also do when you do a rebound smash. Okay, now let me show you guys a few game clip of highlights when I was playing Adebayo, just so you guys get a sense of how to actually play him during matches, etc. Now, when you are playing with Bam Adebayo, the first thing you want to do is you should never be rushing back to under the paint. You should always be trying to help assist with defense. So you can see here the enemy here is actually trying to set up a screen for his teammate. I was aware of this. That's kind of why I wasn't rushing all the way back, especially when the enemy is like Gasol. You know, Gasol is probably going to try to help set up screen. Now, I'm not sure whether this screen would actually be able to block my teammate, but nonetheless, I need to be on guard, to assist with that defense. So that's kind of why when I see Luka was sidestepping and my teammate was still chasing, I know there's a good chance he may not actually be able to get there in time. So that's kind of why I was also rushing towards the opponent Doncic as well. And you can see here, a lot of time you can see I was actually the one interfering. It wasn't actually my teammate. I meant to get there in time. My teammate didn't. That's kind of what I was highlighting red, but my teammate wasn't. So that's kind of why that was a good move from my perspective. But the other thing I also really want to show is that a lot of time if you know you can actually contest the shot and you don't need to jump to block, then you shouldn't be trying to jump to block. And the main reason is that you are still a center. You still need to go back to grab the rebound. If you block, then you may be trying to chase for the loose ball, but that's only if you are confident you actually block the shot rather than contest the shot. And if you already know you can contest the shot simply by being in their range rather than jumping, it's preferably to do it like this, because if I have jump, I have to wait till I land before then rushing back to actually grab the rebound. Whereas if I know I can contest while I'm still being on my feet, I can simply contest the shot and then I can simply go back or to try to grab that rebound. Now here's the thing where I was trying to rush back to grab my rebound. Because I was contesting that shot, I know I probably won't be in a better position than my opponent. So very likely I'll probably lose the box out, and I'm pretty sure I would because the enemy is a Gasol as well. So in this kind of cases, I'll probably need to do my rebound smash. Now, if I actually take a look at where I was positioned right now, I could either rebound into the baseline, in which case I should be the first one to land and therefore grab that. However, what makes it slightly difficult is that the enemy also have someone else rushing back trying to grab rebound as well. And in those kind of cases, because I don't know when the second person will jump, there's no guarantee he will actually jump. Maybe he will just grab the loose ball. So for those kind of cases, I need to be a bit more clever with my rebound smash. Now I have two options to convert that into a pass. I can either do it to my teammate Luka Doncic, who hopefully would be able to get an open three, or my teammate Clarkson, who already have an open three. The problem is if I try to smash it towards Clarkson, once again I don't know how this Williamson will be doing. Maybe he will actually grab the loose ball before my teammate. So the best option for me and the safest option is not to smash into baseline, it's not to smash into Clarkson, it's actually to smash it into my teammate Luka Doncic. And that's kind of why what you see me do is I will quickly, swiftly turn to change my direction and smash it into my teammate. And when I was doing that, as soon as I can see, I can guarantee my teammate got possession. What I have then done is I have done a simple screen to make sure that, well, I was hoping to make sure that I'll be able to block this Luka Doncic, but obviously he changed his direction. But nonetheless, it was able to create an opportunity for my other teammate as well. So that's basically some of the team play you can do when you have Bam Adebayo. You assist with defense, you go back to rebound, and then you also try to position your rebound into a favorable position as well. Now here's another thing. Now I have actually lost that rebound smash. I was trying to do it, but I wasn't actually good enough. And this way, I was actually then needing to follow the enemy Gasol because he obviously have the ball now. Now because I know a lot of time Gasol will actually try to do a quick drive into the paint area to do a dunk. So at this kind of position, I know I need to actually start holding down my defense button to try to actually block his drive. And that's kind of what I see here. And you can see I blocked this drive. Now when I was doing this, I should be rushing back to actually try to steal. So you can see here, right, I was actually rushing back trying to steal. The steal didn't work, which is fair enough. However, what I didn't realize is that, okay, now the ball is actually going into the other direction to Williamson, and Williamson can only ever dunk. So as a result, whilst I need to guard against Gasol's three-pointer, so I can't leave him completely open, but I also need to be in kind of this middle area so that I can also rush back in time for the dunk as well, which is what happened here.
With the big rejection.
Now let me show you another highlight from the same match just a bit later on. So this is at the start of our possession. So Luka has the ball. He's obviously our main scoring point. So I was on the left hand side, and as soon as I see he is the one holding the ball at the start, my first reaction is obviously actually run towards him, trying to set up a screen. Now I know some people try to set up a screen straight away as soon as the turn starts. That's not the right move. The way you want to do it is that you want to find your teammate rather than the teammate finding you, right? You being the screener, you need to actively try to screen for your teammate rather than you just set up a screen in the middle of nowhere and then expecting your teammate to run towards you. So that's kind of the first thing you want to do. So I was running towards whoever was guarding my teammate and trying to block that marker. It didn't actually work, obviously, but I still managed to slow him down. And then the next thing I realized is that now that my teammates kind of dash around a bit and then move into a totally different direction, it's now going to be too far for me to actually follow him to actually set up a screen. So rather than actually trying to do that, what I decided to do is I changed my mind and I went in the opposite direction. And the idea is that I want to either create open space for myself in case my teammate part, or I can actually drive whoever is marking me, for example this poor Gasol, into guarding me instead, and therefore giving less pressure to my teammate. So that's kind of why you see me running in the opposite direction. And then I don't want to be too far from my teammate in case, you know, my teammate is all the way here, I'm all the way here, then that pass might actually fail. So that's kind of why I still want to keep a right distance between my teammate. And then once again, as my teammate now moving inwards, I want to keep that distance, and then I will be the one running outwards. And then as I run outwards, I was able to create that open space and therefore give me the chance to shoot a very easy mid-range, okay? So that's basically what you want to do. Now let me just see whether there's any other highlight here in this turn. Nothing, just straightforward block. Now this clip is basically going to show how you can use BAM to both assist defense on the perimeter, but also, you know, get back in time to block any dunks or layup, etc. So here right now you can see the opponent Paul George is about to use his ult. Now whenever Paul George uses his ult, depending on whether he already has sweet stack, in which case he can shoot through contest, so it's very likely my teammate is going to try to block that in case he already have his sweet stack passive. But at the same time, Paul George can also do a drive. So when you're trying to help your teammate to guard against this, you need to know that your teammate is probably going to jump, try to block, and then I need to then be able to prepare for the subsequent drive in case he didn't actually shoot. So you can see here, yes, indeed, the opponent didn't actually try to shoot straight away. Instead, he actually went for a drive, and that's kind of why I was then preparing to actually block his drive in time. Now, at this point, you can see he passed the ball back to his teammate Giannis because Giannis was completely open. Now I was okay to leave him open because I know Giannis can only go for dunks rather than, you know, try to shoot mid-range. That's okay. However, as soon as I see the ball being passed to Giannis, I know now I need to rush back trying to block in case he dunk, and that's where you can then see, you know, if you take a look at my hands, you can see they're glowing, and that basically shows I have activated my sprint skill. So I was holding on to my sprint skill earlier just in case I need to rush to block Paul George. However, because I was keep holding off it, I can now also have the option of actually using sprint to rush back to the center to actually try to block dunks as well, and that's exactly what happened. And then obviously I have the sprint, so I was fast enough to actually go and chase after the loose ball as well.